Alright, so today I am changing out the struts on the TTSaleen, and the reason being I have Lakewood 70/30 street strip struts on the front of this car. Now this car is very heavy in the front end, and that's partly because number one, it has a 5.4 engine, which is significantly larger, wider, and taller than the 4.6 that came in the car, and it has twin turbos, which add to the weight, plus all the extra exhaust piping, plus an air-to-air intercooler. All that translates into more weight over the front of the car. So the struts need to do a better job trying to keep the car in check when you're driving on the street. At the drag strip, it was perfectly fine with the 70/30 struts. I actually never got the 60-foot dialed in. As you know, I had boost controller issues, transmission issues. But for the street driving, the few times I've been out in the car since I've got it back together, 70/30s work good for about the first one or two bumps. But then once you hit like a really rough road with multiple bumps in it, they seem to start bottoming out. And more than likely, it's probably because my car is so heavy on the front. I have a 200-pound coilover spring that I run on the car, but just with the amount of weight and the extra bumps, the 70/30s just aren't really ideal for a street car. Again, if I was going to the track more often, I'd leave them on there because they're technically brand new. I just put them on the car when I got the car back a couple years ago. But for now, because I do plan to drive the car more on the street, as I've been indicating in other videos, I need a strut that's going to hold up to bad roads, good roads, still handle good, and still support the weight of the car. So for that, I turned to the Bilstein HD struts. These are the same things that come on the 0304 Cobra, and this is what they look like. Now this is right out of the box. I may not be able to run this cover. I may have to pull that off my coilover kit. But what's nice about it, with my 70/30 Lakewoods, I actually had to grind this for my coilover sleeve to slide down on it. And with this one, you can see it doesn't have that. It's perfectly smooth. So the coilover kit will slide right down without any issue whatsoever. So to get started with the video, I want to have one taken off so you can see it. On my car, it's pretty easy to work on without having to take everything apart. I don't run a sway bar on the front of the car. That's why these holes are here. There's no sway bar mount there. And I have these limiters, which are basically tying the front of the car so it can't rise but so much, and they're adjustable. But right now I have them pretty much the highest setting, which lets the car travel the most. And for a street, that's perfectly fine. If I want to tie it down real tight, I could just move this rod up and put it in here, and it would keep the front end really tight when the car would launch. But for the street, this is fine. It throws some weight back, lets the car go. So basically all I have to do is just unhook the strut down here at the bottom, and at the top, pull everything out and just convert the coilover kit over. And when I say coilover kit, that's what this is. This is a sleeve that goes over top of the strut, and this bottom piece here actually rotates where you can raise and lower the height of the car. And this is the spring that sits on it. And let me see if I can show you a part number on here. This is a Viking spring. It's a 14-inch with a 200-pound rating. That's what the 14-200 shows. So 14 inches long, 200-pound rating. This is really good for a street-oriented car or a heavy car, both of which mine are. If I was gonna run it to track all the time and had a lighter combination, I'd have like a 175-pound spring on it. Still probably a 14-inch. 12 inches even shorter, so 14 is what you want for the most travel. But that's where we are. I'm getting ready to swap it over. Just figured I'd show you real quick. It's a real simple process. You just remove the top nut and the two bottom bolts, pull it out. Don't reuse the top nut, just use the nut that comes with the new struts, and away you go. So I'm about to change those out, and then we'll go drive the car, make sure it did an improvement, which I'm sure it will, and then it'll have the handling back like it had when it was new. Basically, it'll handle like it's on rails to a point. I mean, I do have my narrowed 18x9 narrowed down like an 18x6 inch wheel on the front. But that's it. Just a few more things to get the TTSaleen back as a street car, and we'll go from there. Got my air conditioning on. From the 70/30 struts. All right, so a successful test drive. I can definitely tell the struts are different. It definitely handles a little better, especially when you're hitting a bunch of bumps, because the car, like I said, is very nose heavy. Hitting the bumps, it did seem to absorb the impact a little better with these new struts. And driving spot on. It drives straight, runs good. I don't have it on video, but I rolled into it in second gear, and it like lit the tires up, hazed the tires. So it runs good. I gotta adjust the boost controller. It's a little laggy how it comes in because there's not a constant load on it. So with this boost controller, I can change my settings where I had it with the automatic, ramp it in at a certain speed. I need to change that to be more aggressive, basically to ramp it in a lot faster. Because of the stick, it needs the help so it doesn't have the lag on it. But besides that, it runs fantastic. The air conditioning works. It was blowing nice and cold on the way back. And so another successful project. New struts on the front, and I got the 70/30s over there. I may keep them, I may sell them. But for now, putting it back as a street-oriented car that makes a lot of power, it does it. It's pretty nasty. And that's turned down. So turned down is probably making about 800-900 horsepower right now. But when you roll into it, I don't mean stomping, I mean just kind of roll in a little over half throttle. It just lit the tires up in second gear. So a new motor, it's rowdy. That more compression, I think, makes a big difference. I'd love to slap on a dyno and see what the difference is from a previous combination of this one. But I feel like he's picked up a solid 100 more horsepower easily all the way around. Anyway, till next time.